This anime begins in the vast desert, where we see some soldiers dancing, and a princess with yellow hair drinking water. One of the soldiers informs her that they are half a day away from reaching the location where the great monster was spotted. The princess warns them of the danger, urging them to stay vigilant, as the monster could appear at any moment. As the princess speaks, the colossal green one-eyed monster emerges, attacking everyone with great strength. The guards tremble in fear, but the princess reassures them, revealing that they are lucky because the monster approached them willingly. She prepares to fight with her mighty sword, initiating a series of powerful strikes that defeat the monster. The soldiers rejoice and cheer for their skilled princess and leader of the 3rd Field Legion. The scene then transitions, and we find the princess imprisoned with chains in a large dungeon, her mighty sword by her side. The sword, named X, communicates with her, revealing that several nights have passed since the Imperial Army entered a war against the Demon Lord's army. The Demon Lord captured the princess and imprisoned her. X, the sentient holy sword, narrates the princess's history of triumphs in battle, emphasizing her unbreakable will. The narrative shifts to the great demon and a girl with large ears accompanying him. They finally reach the prison where the princess is held. The red-eyed girl, with the help of the monster, begins questioning the princess, seeking information about royal secrets in the empire. However, X, the holy sword, intervenes, revealing that the yellow-haired girl is not just a princess but the commander of the 3rd Imperial Legion. "I will not easily reveal the secrets of the empire," said the black-haired girl. She informed him that they were now moving on to the second plan, which involved torturing her comprehensively to gather information. It turns out that the girl, named Tortora, is the chief investigator in the army of the Demon Lord. She is not ordinary and was specifically chosen by the Great Demon King because she can achieve results through strange and extraordinary methods. The sword is angered because they plan to torture her and tells them that agreements prohibit the use of torture. Tortora responds that human laws and agreements are irrelevant in the Demon Kingdom. The princess reassures the sword not to worry about her, as she will maintain her silence even if they torture her with flames and burn her body. At that moment, Tortora opens a strange contraption, revealing toasted bread. The holy sword laughs at her actions and asks what she intends to achieve by tempting the princess with food, stating that she is not a small child but a field commander of the 3rd Legion. The princess, excited, looks at the food, and when she attempts to eat, the sword strikes her head to wake her up. The princess explains that she is not succumbing to temptation, rather, she smells the delicious aroma of the food and wants to eat like any human would. Tortora then does something to the princess, and we see her immersed in dreams. She envisions a golden carpet leading her to a vast land filled with ripe wheat fields, with the fragrance of white flour resembling snow. The princess weakens again in the presence of the bread, and the sword urges her to overcome herself. The princess regains consciousness and apologizes, asking to wipe the drool from her mouth. Tortor requested them to remain silent and proceeded to cut the bread. The princess, too, weakened at the beauty of the sound. The enticing crunchiness of the slightly burnt surface made it all the more appetizing. The sword, X, called out to her to regain consciousness. The princess woke up again, this time more determined. As the commander of the 3rd Imperial Legion, she wouldn't surrender to such temptations. The torture seemed to evoke a sense of pity, but Tortor informed her that the torture was far from over. She then presented a dish of beef soup, causing the princess to weaken once again. Tortor cut a small piece of bread and dipped it into the beef soup, further tempting the princess. She tried to stop her from eating, but Tortor paid no attention and continued eating, angering the princess. Eventually, the princess fell to the ground, and Tortor told her that she would speak about everything she knew. The princess, saddened by revealing the secrets, requested Tortor to let her have some toasted bread, or even just one piece. However, Tortor, standing firm, informed her that since she had divulged imperial secrets, the torture was over, and instead, there would be a celebration with a feast of toasted bread. The princess was overjoyed, eating voraciously and expressing immense happiness. The scene then shifts to Tortor in her room talking to the mysterious demon. She reveals that their army is extremely weak, and using such a trivial secret for victory is a sign of their desperation. They decide to postpone the princess's release until she provides information that their army can exploit. Tortor swears to continue torturing the princess daily, and the next day, she goes to the princess, announcing that it's time for another round of torture. X, the talking sword, converses with Tortor, the chief investigator, discussing how she managed to defeat the princess yesterday due to her hunger. However, thanks to Tortor's bread torture the previous day, the princess is now filled with bread today. The sword, X, remarked, "Thanks to your torture with bread, she's filled with bread today. Today is the day the princess and the commander of the 3rd Imperial Legion will stand firm. No matter what torture you subject her to." As they observed, X and the princess witnessed the monster cooking. The princess, seemingly unaffected, asserted, "I can't be tempted by food I haven't tasted before, like takoyaki. I know what it is because I used to watch through the palace windows during festivals, and citizens would buy them from food stalls to eat with family or friends. I felt jealous then." Tortor, in response, handed her a piece of takoyaki. The princess was enchanted by its taste, describing it as delicious, crispy on the outside, with a piece of octopus in the middle, all dancing together in her mouth. She then proceeded to disclose everything, revealing the hiding place of the Imperial's ultimate weapon. The scene transitions to Tordur speaking to the monster, expressing fear about using a weapon of such power. Tordur, in her internal monologue, pondered about finding a different torture method if the Demon Lord was afraid. The next day, at midnight, Tordur approached the princess, announcing it was time for her torture. The sword questioned the late-night torture, implying a lack of ethics in the Demon Lord's army. Tordur replied, saying she chose this time for a reason. The princess understood, acknowledging that depriving her of sleep was a form of torture. Tordur affirmed, stating that sleep deprivation might be challenging for an ordinary person, but the princess, being a commander who had fought in fierce battles for days without sleep, was accustomed to it. The princess added that she hadn't slept for 4 nights. Once, while playing video games, I am accustomed to sleep deprivation, but Tordur spoke, saying, today's torture is not about depriving you of sleep. Then, she opened a box, and a lot of air came out. The princess exclaimed, this scent and warmth, this destructive power. A very delicious meal appeared, making the princess's stomach growl because she was very hungry and loved this delightful dish called ramen. The princess said, my stomach was preparing for sleep, but now, due to the visual stimulation and the scent of ramen, my stomach is like an excited child. The princess asked Tordur to give her this meal, but the Sword X warned her not to do so, advising her to avoid looking at it. It was not just ordinary ramen, and consuming it at this late hour would negatively impact her health and cause stomach pain. The princess acknowledged the danger but expressed her inability to resist its deliciousness. The chief investigator of the Demon Lord's army then began consuming some of the broth as a temptation for the princess. She started eating the delicious noodles to entice the princess, who, in response, struck the ground. The sword ordered her to resist, but the princess requested him to kill her now. The Sword X advised her to show some patience, stating that ramen is a meal one enjoys quickly, implying that the torture wouldn't last long. The princess tells X, you're right, X. As I've become accustomed to the influence of ramen, I will control myself this time, and I will never give in. The chief investigator then brings out a bowl filled with rice, topped with spicy pepper paste and garlic, and stuffs it with the seaweed soaked in ramen broth. She starts eating again, and the princess is shocked, unable to resist because eating is her weakness. She falls, thinking about noodles and spinach. Eventually, the princess couldn't resist and confessed again to another royal secret. Afterward, the investigator asks about how satisfied the Demon Lord is with the secret she brought him today. The answer is the usual dissatisfaction, and the investigator informs them that she will do her best tomorrow. Suddenly, 2 soldiers of the Demon Lord enter, requesting to take over tomorrow's torture session. The investigator agrees, and from another perspective, we see the princess sleeping, dreaming of bread and delicious foods. The episode concludes, promising more thrilling episodes to come. Stay tuned for more excitement.
How was the video? We hope it was good. If so, please check these videos. Also, please comment down your thoughts and your suggestions for future videos. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing now to show the support to our channel. We hope to see you soon with another video right in this channel. Have a nice day.